Welcome to the 2024 Weymuller Open in Brooklyn, New York. We have a very exciting day, two semifinals. The first between Olivia Weaver of the United States against Farida Mohamed of Egypt. Following on, we'll have an all-Egyptian battle between Salma Hany of Egypt and Fayrouz Aboelkheir. But to kick it off, we'll see these two battle it out. They played recently, just last week, at the Tournament of Champions on the glass court. It's a new setting, new environment. We'll see if Farida Mohamed can get her revenge as she fell 3-1 to Olivia Weaver in that first match. Two very contrasting styles. Olivia Weaver, very physical, steady, builds a lot of rhythm through her play, and then you have Farida Mohamed, who's warming up on the right side, who plays with an extreme amount of pace, really attacking player, and we've seen her have some pretty big skulls in her career. But starting over on the left side in the white, we have Olivia Weaver, currently ranked 10 in the world, but has been as high as 7, 28 years of age. He has had a testing tournament so far, just getting past Holly Knott in 5 games yesterday, down 2-1. But, you know, she's so determined, very mentally strong, and we saw her really find her composure, stay steady, and get through. She was recently at this tournament last year, made it to the final of the event, losing out to Georgina Kennedy. And in contrast, we have Farida Mohamed, who's no stranger to the Weymuller Open. Semi-finalist last year, falling to Siva Subramaniam. She's had a good tournament so far, beating out Lucy Beecroft in 3 straight games. They have had testing matches in the past, so she must be feeling very confident coming into today. He's been as high as 14 in the world, currently sitting at 17, 11 finals. So they're both fairly close within the rankings. I think they're in for a pretty great match. Joining me today, fellow Canadian squash player, Nicole Bunyan. Welcome back.
Hello, Danielle. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to hear your insights. I remember you were commentating on their previous matchup and their only matchup at the Tournament of Champions.
Yeah, it was an interesting affair. Victor looked, sorry, I'm going to have to stop. I'm going to have to get that out of my head. Weaver looked really confident for the first couple of games and just made Mohamed look quite silly, to be honest. She's so clinical, which is what we've been seeing a lot from Weaver recently. And then Mohamed managed to break up the rhythm, managed to sneak the third, and then Weaver closed it out. But yeah, it could be interesting to see how things go on a traditional court. Always a bit of a different, a few differences we see between the glass and the traditional courts.
And you played on this court, or maybe on the other court at this tournament, and it looks fairly lively compared to the Tournament of Champions. Would you agree?
Yeah, it was pretty warm out there. They had a really good crowd. I think we can hear it in the background right now. So very, very good. Very, very good crowd. Definitely makes for a more lively environment. So I think we're going to see some long rallies, which I think will suit Weaver in the end.
No, definitely. The one thing I was impressed by in their previous matchup was that Weaver was winning most of her points at the front of the court. Obviously set it up with really good attacking length, waiting for the opportunity, but then exposing the movement of Farida Mohamed. But it will be interesting on a hotter court.
Absolutely.
And also, my apologies. I was going to say also fair mistake. There's lots of players getting married recently. Looking at the draws, we see lots of new names out there. Olivia, Weaver being one of them.
Yourself being another.
Yeah.
I've been making a lot of mistakes with that recently. After years and years of calling someone by their last name, it's a hard habit to get out of.
Yeah, it's one thing with the Egyptians. They, even when they get married, they keep their last names for the women. So no confusion there. All right, well, here we go. Farida Mohamed kicking things off in this first game. Yeah, you can already see the ball going through the court really quickly, even on that lob out of the front from Weaver, flying off the back, and Farida Mohamed's just so dangerous around the middle, really injecting pace, using her low kills. Now, after watching that previous matchup, what do you feel Farida Mohamed needs to do in this match to get into it and have a better start?
Well, it's a dream start for Mohamed. Like we said in the intros, she likes the short, sharp rallies. Very contrasting to Weaver. Danielle, did you catch much of Mohamed's match yesterday against Beecroft?
I caught parts of it, and it looked like a bit of a mix. I felt that Lucy Beecroft wasn't on her A game, and she was trying to play Farida Mohamed's game against her using pace, whereas her real strength is being able to buy herself time using height and then attacking from the back. And obviously it on a court like this that's so hot, when you lose a little bit of that accuracy, and it gives the other opponent so much time, and I think Farida Mohamed was just really ready for her, and the quality of Lucy Beecroft's hitting wasn't there enough to really challenge her. But this is a good response from Weaver. Yesterday in her match, I think she struggled a little bit the way Lucy Beecroft did against Mohamed, and finding that quality of length and then feeling confident going in short. With a hot ball, it is hard to feel that touch and confidence to move the ball, but it is important to still try to utilize it instead of getting into a length game, which you can see here, Farida Mohamed's just eating up. Having played Olivia Weaver recently at the Kinetic Open, what did you feel was kind of her strength? Where did you find difficulties? Like, what do you think we should be trying to do and use to make Farida Mohamed uncomfortable?
I think that right now Weaver's strength is absolutely her physicality and her consistency. She's just being relentless with not giving any errors. She's taking the ball really early, and her length just pushes you really far back. So I think that the way Mohamed started here, being really positive, is definitely the way to go. Obviously, she needs to keep that error count low, which unfortunately she did not get right at the TOC last week, but so far it started out pretty well.
Yeah, definitely agree. She's kind of an all or nothing player. High risk, high reward, if it goes well.
Yeah, she lives by the sword, dies by the sword, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clever from Mohamed.
She's moving on to the ball at the front really quickly, getting her position, rack it up quick, using that movement to force Weaver back, and then you saw that nice counter drop. Oh, wrong choice. Really putting it onto the racket of Mohamed, giving her 6 game balls to take this first game.
Yeah, it can be really unsettling playing Mohamed because she does those calculated guesses. She anticipates, but sometimes she doesn't get it right. But the issue is that then you end up second guessing yourself. So you see sometimes there she has guessed right, but it can also go terribly wrong. But so far, like you said, it's been spot on here. 5 game balls, which is fantastic against a top 10 player.
Well, an impressive start from Farida Mohamed. She's not messing around today. Looking very focused, confident out on court. 7 minutes of play, 11-5. Pretty short game, I'd say, especially for Olivia Weaver standards. I think if she's hoping to see Farida Mohamed get a little nervous, break down, have those errors, she needs to extend the rallies a bit more. Well, you can see the points breakdown. Weaver really not getting any consistent points back to back, all very sporadic. Mohamed definitely having all of the momentum on her side.
Well, both players back on court already. I think either of them will have been feeling any physical effects from that first game. Like you mentioned, Danielle, it was 7 minutes in duration, which is not a long amount of time for either of these players.
No, it's been a very speedy affair. We'll see if Weaver has a response. That length was perfect. Just really traveling through quickly, finding that angle. Weaver loves to get on the volley, and Farida Mohamed's really not letting her get the chance.
I'm not sure who's in Weaver's corner right now, but Danielle, if you were, what would you be saying to her between the first and the second game?
I think she needs to add a lot more variety. Even when she's lifting the ball, it's with a decent amount of pace and trying to slow things down. Here, let's listen to what the players are saying first before I continue. Weaver not happy with maybe the movement, but yeah, I think she just needs to settle down even when she's hitting high, take the pace off, because it is a lively court. It's going to come back, and then it's not really putting Farida Mohamed into uncomfortable situations. And then even just to mix it at the front, even there, she's forcing it deep, putting the pace, and that's when you lose that accuracy. And Farida Mohamed, they're just getting a stroke off a very loose drive.
Yeah, Mohamed's just feeding off this pace at the moment.
Yeah. Would you add anything different if you were coaching?
Just like you were saying, Danielle, she's got to find a way of unsettling Mohamed's rhythm and her confidence. Mohamed's very much a confidence player, and right now, having come away with that first game the way she did, starting out with a 5-1 lead, she's not going to change anything in the second unless Weaver forces her to. Right now, it's just too much time and too much space on the ball for Mohamed.
Yeah, absolute carnage with these kills on the forehand side. So tight, so sharp. Weaver's just not responding. I don't know if she's necessarily reading Mohamed. She's not moving. Her first step is a little bit backwards, but the kills are going forwards enough. And she's not reacting to the front of the court well. You wonder if that match from yesterday against Donan took its toll a little bit. Interesting interaction there. I feel Olivia Weaver wanted to get the ball, maybe try and hit it a few times, get some rhythm, and Farida Mohamed a bit very savvy, on-court savvy, aware, still up 8-love. At the TOC at Nickel Squash, Jamal, one of the promoters at the club, was asking players at the end of their matches that if you are up 10-love, you go for the bagel, or do you keep it? Do you give your opponent a point? We don't have that question now with Olivia Weaver getting a point on the board, but what would you say if someone asked you that question?
Oh man. Well, I feel like if you're playing someone who's a quality player, you probably take the bagel. Honestly, I think. I mean, I've never been in that position really, where I've been playing a top 10 player and have, probably won games, or let alone, been in a position to bagel them. But I feel like it's from a mental perspective, you just want to keep doing what you're doing, right? You don't want to deviate. But obviously the bagel is, a bit of a difficult situation, isn't it?
But yeah, but it is one of those things, once you start thinking about the bagel, it's harder to get.
It's true.
But I agree. I think one of those things, if you're playing a top 10 player, you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. Which we can see a bit of momentum now for Olivia Weaver.
Well, exactly. If you start thinking about that finish line too soon, which looks like perhaps Farida Mohamed was starting to do. Then you can start to lose a bit of that momentum. But she's got herself 6-game balls now. Just a slight blip in focus the last couple points, but certainly not going to go away from what she's been doing.
No, she looks relaxed. One saved by Weaver.
Well, there's the guess. I will say one thing, though. I've seen Weaver come back from a 2-love deficit a number of times, so I don't feel that we can ever count her out, even if she does lose the second game.
Yeah, agreed.
Part of what's helped her get into that top 10. That's a fantastic counter.
Well, a ferocious roar from Mohamed. Until she wants it, she's motivated, and she now leads 2 games to love. Well, they're another 7-minute game, only 1 point difference between the first game. Farida Mohamed really having amazing starts, not letting Olivia Weaver get into the match, get confidence, or find any sort of rhythm. Very impressive performance so far from the Egyptian. Again, we have the point breakdown. Mohamed getting up to an 8-love lead. And then you can see Weaver get a few points on the board. I felt it was mainly due to a bit of a focus lapse or drop from Mohamed, hitting a few mistakes, going short too early. But we'll see if Olivia Weaver can use that momentum from the end of the game and get into this match.
Well, it's been a dream start to this match for Mohamed. Barely any rhythm. She's got herself a pretty comfortable 2-love lead against former world number 7, Olivia Weaver. Not much physicality that's been put into the legs or the lungs of the American.
You do wonder, after playing so many tournaments and going pretty far into them, both the Kinetic Open, TOC, and now this third one, all within 3 weeks, it can take its toll. Obviously, she's a very physical and fit player. You train and see the way she trains more frequently than I do, being in the New York area, and she's up with Rod Martin in Connecticut. I imagine you also see the way Farida Mohamed trains as well. But there's a noticeable difference in Mohamed's physicality, and it's very impressive. You can see the explosiveness in her first step.
Yeah, one of the things that's impressed me most about Mohamed here, and also against Beecroft yesterday, is that she's not really hitting the same shot twice. Any little bit of space she gets, she's looking to impose herself. You see right there. It's a pretty good shot. Obviously, Mohamed's frustrated that Weaver's going to get a let there, but she does take her space. I mean, for better or for worse, sometimes it can certainly be for worse, but a lot of the time, if she's confident, she's around the tee, and she puts the ball, in a place that's not going to risk a stroke. Very accurate.
That's a bit of an awkward one. I felt that her quality of shot was good enough, despite taking the space. But yeah, I think a bit of a lifeline there, but didn't really help Weaver out. Go down through love.
Yeah, to your point, Danielle, about all the tournaments, this is just one in a span of, I think, 6 tournaments in a row for Weaver. After this, she's playing Cincinnati, which is coming up shortly, Detroit, and also Windy City. And all of those she's seeded to go pretty far in, I would say. So definitely, even if this one doesn't go so well, she has others to back it up. But it's certainly an aggressive start to 2024 for Weaver.
Very aggressive. And I think what people don't appreciate is that it's not just the physical wear and tear, it's the mental wear and tear to be able to keep going. And she's been playing focus, had some tough matches against Nourel Sherbini, obviously in this tournament already being tested. And Mohamed still playing probably the same amount of tournaments, but not making it as far in the rounds. You can still come out a little bit more fresh, have a bit more time to reset. He's just hunting those volleys, pushing Weaver to the front of the court, waiting for the lob, and just continuously putting her under pressure.
Well, it's good to hear the home crowd support for Weaver. Hasn't been much of that this evening so far. Mohamed's been doing a really good job at putting the dampener on them.
Yeah, stuff. It's still nice to hear the crowd. I remember being there, and there's so many juniors. It's a really great atmosphere and program that they have at the Heights Casino. I've played it a couple times, and it's just such a welcoming environment.
Yeah, they had a really good crowd out for their home. They had a wild card who was Minji, who's a coach at the Heights Casino, and she had a really good upset against Kenzie Amon in the first round, and then had a really good performance against Holly Naughton in the second round as well. Unfortunately, she came up short, losing in 4, but yeah, like you said, it's just fantastic home support, really fun tournament to play.
It's always exciting to see how players can perform when there's no pressure, just get to enjoy it. And obviously being the wild card coaching, you can kind of go in and do whatever you like, and it clearly paid off. Still a pretty high level.
To feel it's kind of similar to how perhaps Mohamed's feeling now. After having lost to Weaver just last week, she's come out here and she's just playing like she's got nothing to lose, doesn't she? And obviously there's a lot of intent on every shot, but well up for this, and she's been spot on this whole match.
Yeah, it's been flawless. Only a couple mistakes when I think she tries to rush it and finish it off too soon, but it's very, very rare. Oh, just down. I thought it was up for a second. It was a very narrow miss.
She's not going to stop going for them now, is she, Mohamed? She can really taste that finish line. Have to feel for Weaver. She's had such a good, pretty solid period these last couple months, and she looks a bit flat today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not her best performance, but you have to give credit where credit's due. Really not letting her get in to this match. Well, she's seen the finish line, making a couple mistakes, but Is it too late for Weaver? Smart. Weaver pushing up her tee, anticipating the ball is going to go short.
Oh, hearing a few words from Mohamed now.
She's going to need a good serve
coming out.
with that. Oh, it's a big rally. Probably the longest one of the match. Farida Mohamed preparing herself 3 match balls, using a bit of variety with that trickle post. Well, there we have it. You can see how much it means to Farida Mohamed. Showing some emotion. Olivia Weaver will be a bit disappointed with that performance, but Farida Mohamed really kept her cool at the end. 9-minute third game, 11-7. 26-minute match, 11-7. Farida Mohamed again had a massive lead and then saw the finish line a little bit, got excited, went short, giving Olivia Weaver some hope, but she closed it out 3 games to love. A very impressive performance.
Last week was pretty embarrassing for me, I would say. I would never want to see myself in that situation again, and I would never want to be acting that way that I acted last week again. I wasn't getting mad, I wasn't doing anything harmful, but I wasn't really giving my all, and that's not an attitude I would like to play with and show my personality.
You can see the breakdown of the points. Farida Mohamed having a good lead, holding strong. But we're not done. One more semifinal left between Fayrouz Aboelkheir against Salma Hany in 10 minutes time. A rematch from their last game a week ago at the Tournament of Champions. Stay tuned.
It's been a pretty tough season for me, maybe 2 seasons.
Overwhelmed and very proud, I imagine. But can you just talk a little bit about that? Was some of the more attacking squash I think maybe we've ever seen. Were you visualizing something similar to that for this match?
Yeah, I mean, last week it's good to play like a week difference between both. I think it was still fresh and I know what went wrong, so it was easy to still remember how to deal with it on court. And yeah, I think that's more of my game. Usually, I just like attack and hit the ball hard most of the time. Maybe that was what was lacking last week. So yeah, I was just focusing on forcing my game today instead, and I think it worked out pretty well.
Awesome. And how do you turn your attention to tomorrow's final? Straight back to work, back to visualization?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take maybe like 15 minutes to just be happy with this one, make some calls, and yeah, I mean, it's not over, and I came here to win the event, so I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow. I hope they play a very tough match. I'm glad it's for me, so I hope they have a tough one, and yeah, I'm looking for a tight player tomorrow.
Everyone's going to expect some attacking squash from you now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Fayrouz Aboelkheir taking on Salma Hany. You can see there the results previously. Fayrouz Aboelkheir coming through a very close and testy match against Sarah Jane Perry. Well, on the right of your screen, you see Fayrouz, only 17 years old, but she's really been making her mark here on PSA World Tour. Last week, she had a fantastic run, getting to the quarterfinals of the Tournament of Champions. These two actually played last week, and it was quite the sight, actually. Aboelkheir completely dispatched Salma Hany, made her look pretty pedestrian, which is a very, very big feat considering Hany's experience on the World Tour. Like I said, just 17 years old. She's already climbed to 29 in the world. I'm sure that now we're going to see that ranking continue to climb. Except for her last match before this, she had a pretty comfortable run through. First round beating Jess Turnbull 3-0 and taking out Melissa Alves, number 6 seed, 3-0 in just 23 minutes. And then, like I said, Sarah Jane Perry winning 3-1. And now on the right of your screen, we see Salma Hany, 2nd seed at this year's Weymuller. She's been ranked as high as number 7, currently sitting at 11 in the world. She's come through her past 2 matches, 3-0, but they've been pretty close. First one lasting almost 40 minutes, and the second one is similar, coming through against Hannah Ramadan, 11-2, 11-9, 13-11. So not the most straightforward. And she's played this event a number of times now, so no stranger to the Heights Casino. At least 7 times. Which is very impressive considering she's 27 years old now. So certainly been around on the tour for quite a while. Very similar to my co-commentator, Danielle Laterna. Welcome, Danielle.
Hello. I'm excited for this match to see if Salma Hany has a response to, don't want to say it, but of a bit beatdown that Fayrouz Aboelkheir served her last week at the TOC. She's a very impressive player, even in her match against Hany El-Hammamy the following 2 days later. It was very impressive squash. She definitely unnerved Hammamy, and she did the same to Sarah Jane Perry yesterday. There are a lot of stops and starts in their match. It can be a little bit awkward, but I do feel that her quality is very impressive, and Salma Hany as well when she's on, but I think she might not have expected that sort of performance from Fayrouz Aboelkheir the week before. So I think she'll be pretty hungry for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I see a potential 5-gamer in our future this evening.
You're calling it now?
Yeah, I haven't predicted who's going to win, but I certainly see the potential for a 3-2. A very fiery one as well.
Well, hopefully we do. It, that first semifinal, it was a bit one-sided between Weaver and Mohamed. So I'm sure for the crowd and for everyone watching on SquashTV, we're definitely excited and anticipating a battle tonight.
Well, Aboelkheir kicks this off. Very mature game style that she has. Reads the game really well.
One thing I'm always impressed by Aboelkheir is the variety she has. I feel we see a lot of the young Egyptian players coming up, and they are so good with pace, and they'll inject pace, pace, pace. But you do see her throw up the lobs, especially the one from the backhand to that forehand side, is really beautiful. She picks her moments really well, but so far she seems maybe a bit too excited about this match. Maybe knowing what she did the week before, a couple mistakes early on. Beautiful finish. Tight. I do find it interesting when you can see when someone's focused, because that quality of the length going tight, you're not just trying to get through, you're really using that right amount of pace to get that target, even there on her serve, hitting the right spot on the wall, forcing that loose return from Aboelkheir. I feel Hany is definitely dialed in just from the initial few points we're seeing.
Yeah, I think Hany knows what to expect this time. Seemed like she was a bit caught off guard last week. And you could really see in Hany's body language. Obviously, it's tough when you're on the glass court. You're playing a younger opponent who's really hungry, who's taking the game to you and is outplaying you, and you don't really know how to respond. So hopefully here, she's played this tournament a number of times, done pretty well here in the past. Hopefully she can shake that loss off and still be positive.
Definitely. I have a question for you. So Salma Hany, she's been known to switch coaches, switch trainers a little bit, and I do feel that when you are switching so often, trying to have an identity on court and finding that confidence just from consistency can be a little difficult. I feel lately she's had a little bit more of a rhythm. Do you think that would have a drastic impact in performance?
Certainly can. You know, obviously you're going to go through highs and lows, aren't you? You know, throughout working with your coaches. And obviously the first low point that you experience, you don't want to jump ship, right? Because that's going to happen. You need your coaches to be there through thick and thin. So I don't know really enough about her coaching situation to know if she's that type of person where she's always trying to change something if things aren't going the way she wants them to. But I think in general, you want to find someone that is going to stick with you through the thick and the thin, and vice versa. You know, you have that trust in your coaches as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think recently you can see through her social media that she has a lot of trust in her athletic coach and the fitness. She tends to post that more than she does squash, which obviously makes sense. As players, you do want to kind of keep your cards close to your chest, not showing everything. But we'll see if she can find a bit more consistency, stay calm. It seems a little edgy in this match.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised at all. I think we were expecting a lot of this. There could very well be a lot of stoppages today.
Well, we have Andrea Santamaria. You can recognize her voice, that English accent, taking control of this match, giving a warning to both players, their movement. I'm sure she is anticipating it and wanting it to be as free-flowing as possible.
Yeah, it can be good to set the stall out early.
that forehand side has definitely been effective for Aboelkheir. I feel Hany, sometimes she tries to anticipate to take it early and doesn't get quite behind it, and there we saw her force that boast into the tin. And Fayrouz, she has a nice hold on her forehand. You can see her have good prep. She'll hold it for just a second, and she has so many options. I think it's a good way to maybe exploit the movement of Hany, make it less predictable. But that backhand side, incredible touch from Hany. Her backhand drop is always so smooth.
Yeah, certainly a trademark.
Beautiful hold. Yeah, she read that one. We did see that in Fayrouz's Aboelkheir's match against Hany El-Hammamy. There's times when she got the opportunities and she can't help but try and go for something fancy, trying to do a bit too much. When she does have the squash to just put away, get on it quick.
Yeah, I'd say that perhaps the weakness in Aboelkheir's game right now is her movement. She does do what a lot of the Egyptians do, which is throw out that really big lunge, and sometimes she slides into the splits, but obviously that's very difficult to do repeatedly. It leaves you pretty stranded. But what she does do, Danielle, like you're saying, is she manages the game very well, right? She varies the pace. There's that lovely lift. So her control of the game and of the middle of the court is excellent. But if she exposes herself at the front, then Hany's going to look to expose that all day long.
Oh, it's a tough air. Crucial point. Maybe the long rally. Just looking for a quick response, quick point. I think Salma Hany, 1-game ball.
Oh, Hany really looking for the stroke there. I do feel she might have caught Aboelkheir in her backswing, but Andrea Santamaria is not going to be giving away any cheap strokes, that's for sure.
Lifeline for Aboelkheir. I'm not sure I agree with that one, Nicole. I think there was a little bit of a line to the left.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think there was just a bit of interference perhaps on both parts. Hany not really giving much access. She does love that backhand drop, but sometimes she doesn't clear it as well as she could.
I agreed. Oh, she went for it. The counter from Hany, just too good.
Look at that outrageous counter drop from Hany to close out that first game. Well, not a whole lot of rhythm in that first, as we expected. Tense and edgy times. 12 minutes, for that first game. And it's Salma Hany that leads 1 game to love. Well, there we see the points graphic. You can tell it's went back and forth throughout most of the match, and then just at the business end, Hany was able to come just from a slight deficit in 4 points in a row. Really interesting to see how the rest of this match shakes out. I do anticipate more stoppages, Danielle. I feel that's just going to increase as times get even more tense.
Yeah, but I think that first game was really critical to Salma Hany, just having a good start getting in the match, because the last one she never really was allowed into it. And so she's got to be feeling pretty confident. And for her, once your confidence sets in, then you can let your racket go, you can find your shots. I do feel Fayrouz was a little bit impatient at the key moments, and it really comes down to those big points, and the experience Hany has obviously will go a long way.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Danielle. It's a really good point. You could sense the edginess in that first game, and like you said, Salma Hany can just relax a little bit, know that she's up 1 love, and maybe things will start to flow a little bit freer.
Yeah, good decision. Line to the right side.
It's always tough playing someone the next week that you've just played the week before, isn't it? We've seen that quite often between Florida, the first week of January or the second week of January, TOC last week, and then this week we've been seeing a lot of repeat matchups. So it's, we saw that with Weaver and Mohamed just before this. It's interesting to see how that, just mentally, how players react.
Especially when they're so close in skill and ranking. It's one thing if you're playing someone who you might have a bit of a gap and you've never won before, you can kind of expect that same trend. But in these matches, I do feel it also has that opposite effect, because that person's going to be extra hungry. The other person's probably relaxed just a little bit, maybe getting too complacent. I don't think Aboelkheir is. She's very focused, an individual. She's very mature for a player of her age. But there is that change from being the unseeded player with no pressure to then you have this expectation of winning, and now you need to do it again.
Absolutely. And like you said earlier as well, Aboelkheir came through that match against Hany on the glass last week relatively untested. So it's going to be hard to back that up, because you have that expectation in your head that you could or that you might beat someone just as easily. But Hany's going to make, and has already proven that she's going to make that a lot more difficult this time around.
Yeah, definitely. And we talked about the court conditions. It's a very different situation. But all even here, just like the first game, neck and neck. Well, an easy point for Hany. Quality serve.
It's also so interesting, Danielle, how your mindset changes from tournament to tournament. Last week, Hany had a tough match. She had a tough 3-2 against Gina Kennedy to start off her TOC campaign. And sometimes when you draw the higher, a relatively also high-seeded player early on, the draw kind of opens up for you a little bit after that. So it's almost like she had this weight off her shoulders, perhaps, but then drew Aboelkheir, who was extremely hungry, played really well, and I think that probably added to Hany's edginess because she felt like this was a massive opportunity for her to get pretty far in the draw. So it's just interesting how those dynamics play into the tournament as well.
Definitely, and that was a very impressive performance. Like, very edgy performance from Gina Kennedy, but Salma Hany really stuck in because you do think about that physicality of Georgina Kennedy and how devastatingly fast her pace is just by her movement and her speed onto the ball. But Hany's so good with her skill set, really able to find the opportunities, buy herself time. I mean, she's doing the same thing here right now, finding her game. It's up 7-2, gone really quick. Yeah, just a bit of a heavy drop from Aboelkheir. And he's really refocused. I do feel that that first game was so crucial for her confidence, and she's finding those targets, and the quality's just gone up, and we'll have to see if Aboelkheir has a response. I think she's kind of gone lulled into Hany's game where Hany's really controlling, she's more reacting and trying to find a solution, but she's not imposing herself the way she was on that glass court at Grand Central. There, she was really stepping up, hunting those volleys and being able to do something with it, but
Well, tons of decisions, Danielle, as predicted. Unfortunately, what I don't like to see is when a player is looking for the decision before looking to play the ball. And you just can see that, unfortunately, right now with Fayrouz, that seems to be the case. She's playing the ball, and of course, because she reads it so well and she's hitting with a very good accuracy, she's actually able to craft some of these situations into strokes for herself, as we've seen. But it's not really what you want to see, because when it goes wrong, it doesn't make for very free-flowing squash.
yeah, I feel she's been fortunate that Hany's counters to her attacks haven't been of the highest quality just because her initial shot was so strong. But I don't think she's making enough effort to go and play that ball. But it really comes down to Hany's quality. It's one of those things when you're playing a player who's doing that, you can only really focus on hitting better shots, because otherwise it's going to keep happening, especially if the player's getting rewarded for it.
And it's a good surge here now from Aboelkheir. 7-9. You can't really relax with that scoreline.
Yeah. But what Aboelkheir is doing a really good job is she's starting to attack from the back, catching Hany a little flat-footed, and then really hunting up that counter and applying the pressure from there rather than going back deep and letting Hany have that time around the tee.
Absolutely. She's certainly got no fear taking the ball in short. Probably one of the
None.
better players at disrupting rhythm.
I like to see Hany use a bit more height out of the front. I think she's trying to hit her way out or try and force shots when they're pretty high quality. And that's getting her into trouble because Aboelkheir is really hunting that volley.
Yeah, Aboelkheir is very strong across the middle. She's got really good spacing, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Really sets herself nicely. Well, you can certainly understand Hany's frustration there.
Well, she had a massive lead, up, I think, 9-4, and now it's just within 1 point. Let's see if Aboelkheir can keep this momentum and even it up. Oh, beautiful.
Well, very impressive fight back from the younger Egyptian. Hany will be feeling that pressure now.
You see her
Needs to
tense
forget
up, her
the
shoulders
fact-
are a bit tighter.
Let's forget the fact that she's got that long lead. She'll be very relieved to get away with the second game if she does.
Oh, there's the error. Oh, Hany will be very relieved.
That was massive squeeze from Hany. Very well managed by her. After having a massive lead and then squandering it, she managed to close out the second game. Also 11-9 in 12 minutes. It's Hany that leads Fayrouz Aboelkheir 2-0.
big question for you, Nicole. After seeing the momentum switch in that second game, you still predict a 5-game match.
I stand by my comment saying that has the potential to be 5 games for sure.
Loophole.
Exactly. Choose your words carefully, always. Oh, I've certainly been wrong, though, that's for sure.
I think these stoppages actually help Aboelkheir a lot more than Hany. I think she gets a lot more on edge by them and unnerved.
Yeah, some players are able to thrive in these situations. Farida Mohamed's another one. She loves the short, choppy exchanges. There's no issues having the altercations with the ref. And Aboelkheir is similar. She can really thrive off of the lack of rhythm. I've learned the hard way that it's best for me not to get involved with the ref.
Yeah, always better. Oh, beautiful finish there. Steady squash. Both players using a little bit more height, and she just forced that loose shot from Hany. In that body position of Hany, she looks very, very tense on edge, which you have thought after getting through that third, even though it was close, she would relax a little bit. You can see the shoulders are up. It's better letting her arm go all the way through.
That was a brutal boast from Aboelkheir. Took a full swing and whipped that one right around.
Yeah, it stings. Well, if she can do it, Hany can too. You can hear a couple people supporting Salma Hany, obviously being there 8 times. I think you said 8 times. You're going to make those really good relationships and with members in the club, and you like to see it. It's nice when you have players who put that time in and get to know different members of a club and get that support. It just kind of shows a true testament of their character, that as they return, they can kind of build these really strong rapports.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of the same families tend to host at the Heights Casino as well. Very family-oriented club.
Again, Aboelkheir getting the points on that forehand. You can see Hany, compared to her backhand, she can sometimes get caught in this position leaning over the ball with her back instead of using her legs, and then it just has that ball pop out. And that's only when she doesn't have time, because otherwise she's fairly balanced on the ball. But it was an area that I think Aboelkheir could expose a little bit more. Even again there, you can see her pulling out the ball as she's hitting because of her positioning.
Yeah, that's spot on. So challenging when an opponent starts to pick on a technical deficiency of yours, whether it's a movement deficiency or, a swing deficiency. And with Salma Hany, she's so confident in that backhand side. Like you said, Danielle, she sets herself really well. She's really strong on the ball there. Obviously, the backhand drop is one of her most favored shots. And when you take that away and then you start to expose someone in another area, it really knocks your confidence. And that's what Aboelkheir has done really well in this third game.
Yeah, solid lead here.
You wonder if Hany will be telling herself that if Fayrouz was able to come back from a big deficit like this in the second, that maybe she can as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's like encouraging when you've seen the other person do it. With that being said, there's just, I have this sense she's just struggling. Like the games have been close. She's up 2-love, but it's been narrow. And so you have this lead, but you can tell she's just not relaxed fully. Smart. That backhand drop. Want to get a chance to use it.
Yeah, Hany ran that backhand drop in nice and tight. Really limited Fayrouz Aboelkheir's options. That's a ferocious response. Just when Hany was starting to build a little bit of momentum back, Aboelkheir actually completely squashed it.
Quick response. Well, she's not going away. Very smart play, adding a little bit of variety, hitting a little shorter than what Aboelkheir has been expecting. Most of her shots have been going all the way through or going really short. And that one just in the middle, you can see she wasn't quite prepared for that movement. But like you said, if she can do it, Hany can. 9-8. Pretty much the reverse of that second game. Will the youngster hold her nerve?
Well, 2 game balls for Aboelkheir to get herself back into this match.
Smart lift. Well, both players are unhappy with that one. The ball was traveling through the court really quickly. So I can understand if the referee felt that Hany wasn't quite ready to hit that, or if there's enough space. But still, 2 game balls here in the third. An interesting movement there.
Yeah, Hany's going to be frustrated by that. Did really well to go around and retrieve that backhand drop from Aboelkheir, but made herself very, very, shall we say, strong on the ball. The dive coming in from Hany, but unable to recover. And Aboelkheir strikes back. Takes the third game, 11-8. But Salma Hany still leads 2-1. Well, pretty much back and forth. Aboelkheir getting the larger lead towards the back end, going up 8-4. Hany managed to claw it back. But as we kind of predicted, this game certainly had the potential to go more than 3 games and go the distance. We're starting to see Aboelkheir show us a bit of that resolve that she has.
Well, definitely, you can always tell a little bit when someone's on court that much earlier. Saw it between the last game as well. Aboelkheir, the first one on court, kind of maybe indicating to an opponent that she's still fresh. She feels confident. Oh, a little bit more on that one. Didn't quite get behind the ball. Good length for my luck here.
Yeah, I'd say that Aboelkheir's backhand drops, particularly her counter drop, is one of the best on the women's tour. I'd actually go so far as to say she really squares her racket up nicely.
And she moves her feet well to get in position initially, so she still has the options to go to other parts of the court. But tough movement there, a bit too short for her to reach. Like all the young Egyptians can slide into the ball and somehow don't get injured. To be young.
Outrageous, that shot. Yeah, it was funny. I put a poll out on my Instagram, a little question box the other day, and I actually got 2 questions of people asking if you can learn to slide as you get older, kind of like how the Egyptians do. And my answer was, and you can weigh in on this, obviously. My answer was no. I think you have to learn that from a young age. I think as you get older, your body just doesn't know how to respond, and I feel like it's as much a skill as it is a technical aspect, or sorry, as it is a physical aspect.
Yeah, I imagine it would take a lot of maintenance for your body to be able to even do that over and over again, like these players do. You can maybe manage one and hope you don't get hurt, but I think at this point, at least for me in my career and having a couple injuries, I will happily avoid sliding into the front of the court.
Yeah, Danielle, you spent a good amount of time in Egypt. You did some training there for a while, so you've experienced the slippery court conditions, and I feel like that must lend itself to these players learning how to do that from a young age. Do you agree?
Yeah, I'd say so. You also get used to the sliding. I remember when there'd be tournaments at some of the clubs, and other players would travel in, and they'd find it so slippery. And at that point, I was like, I think it's fine. Probably one of the least slippery courts I've actually played on. I remember it was Black Ball, and I think their courts are pretty well maintained. Compared to some of the other ones that I felt were a bit of a skating rink. And so I think your body does adapt, but trying to forcefully do it is something other than um, kind of having it happen by chance.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, better target hitting from Hany. Beautiful finish. Look at that. Right in the neck.
Yeah, it's big from Hany. She's going to look to make a move now.
It has to be a no let. Oh, I am wrong. It's a stroke. I felt that there was a lot of space between her and the ball. The ball was very short, in my opinion. But again, in person, it could look differently when you're there in the action. Wow, what a dynamic rally. And that lead once again swindled by Aboelkheir. Oh, beautiful switch up. First time she's hit it, and it's one of those shots if you have it in your bank to use it at the right time and not play it too early so they can't anticipate or be looking for it. Such a smart play by Hany.
Yeah, we've seen her just opt for the straight options so much throughout this match. It's really every time to play it, like you said.
We tried again. Execution wasn't quite the same, but the rally impressive from both of them. Tight on this backhand wall.
Right on cue, Danielle. Fantastic squeeze from Hany, and she's got herself 4 match balls.
One saved, quality drop from Aboelkheir. Switching things up, serving to the forehand. I'm trying to find some sort of.
To you. About that forehand you were talking about, Danielle. They must have a feed in. Maybe she's got a microphone.
High in the crowd. She's determined. Very determined. Oh, wow. What a finish. She saved 3. Will she save 1 more?
We can see the difference in body language now between both players. Aboelkheir looking positive. Hany looking a little edgy, a little subdued.
Oh, what a time for that error. She had the whole court close on target. Anything but the 10. And we are now 10-all in this 4th game.
Oh, such a bad feeling when you feel like you've got all the time in the world and then your arm turns to glass and you put an opportunity like that in the tin. End up kicking yourself for those. Well, can she regroup here?
Well, a let will be played. Another one. I can't imagine who's. She must be in so much shock. You can see the shoulders are so tense, just missing it, trying to force this win. And now Aboelkheir has a 1-game ball to take this to a 5th. Yeah.
Smart play from Hany, forcing the loose ball in the middle from Aboelkheir, and then 0 risk, option to go a little bit longer. I feel that Hany now needs to get that lead out of her mind. She needs to forget those errors, and she just needs to make herself really tough to beat now.
Oh, beautiful finish. Tight. Yeah, I think good adjustment from her, like making those adjustments quick time, adding a bit more height, a little bit more pace, not going for perfect. Another match ball. Wow. Beautiful length. Definitely a battle of wills at this point, and composure. You get the sense that Aboelkheir has the upper hand in these extra points.
Yeah, it's certainly a good confident sign when you're finding your range at the back of the court like Aboelkheir just did, finding a dying length at a big moment like that.
Oh, she didn't get the length. But beautiful finish, kept her composure.
Well, Aboelkheir now sneaking her nose in front. She's done very well to get herself a game ball now after having been down match balls. What's the saying? Looking down the end of the barrel or something like that.
Yeah.
Now she's flipped the script.
Oh, there it is. We're going to a fifth. Just as you predicted. Beautiful comeback. Beautiful finish by Aboelkheir.
Well, folks, if you had a drink, it's probably time to go refill it about now. We're tied up here at 2-all. Fayrouz, Aboelkheir saving some match balls, closing that fourth out, 14-12. We're all tied up, 2-all after 53 minutes.
All right, Nicole, I'm going to put you in the hot seat. At the beginning of the match, you predicted it was going to go 5. It's gone 5, but you didn't say who would win. So, who's it going to be?
I was going to ask you that question. You beat me to it. All right, I'm going to go with Aboelkheir. I think she's got the momentum now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Aboelkheir is going to be really pumped that she won that fourth game.
It's been very interesting squash. They've both been using a lot of variety, using the front court magnificently. What a count, what a drop there from Salma Hany. And it's nice to see all the variation that they both have.
Well, all the games have pretty much gone the distance. Do you think this one's going to go there as well? You're predicting a tie break?
I think it all depends. I think if Hany gets another big lead and she has a good start, it'll end up going the distance. We've seen her get really edgy at the end of each game, even when she's had big leads. She had them in a couple of them. But with Aboelkheir, if she can get her head early on in this game, I think she'll hold on to it.
Yeah, full credit to Aboelkheir. Her style of play just doesn't let you settle in whatsoever.
It's also one that, because she's so positive and attacking, she's moving around the court. Even if you're fit, those movements do take their toll over time. If you're mentally tired, you're physically tired, it doesn't take much. It's always whoever plays more positively in the fifth tends to come out winning. You don't want to be defensive. You don't want to be passive in these moments and let the other person take control.
Now, you certainly need to play to win when it comes to the fifth game. And you do feel that that's what Aboelkheir is going to do.
I'm sure Farida Mohamed is very happy that this is going the distance. Her match coming off in a pretty quick 3.
Yeah, what a result for her, getting through in just 26 minutes against Weaver.
Oh, wow. What a shot. Right off the serve, straight into the neck. Home run, in my opinion.
That was outrageous. Well, Hany just forcing it now a little bit.
Trying to bounce on the tee, give herself a bit of momentum, get her legs moving.
Well, it's really a battle of the backhand drops, isn't it, Danielle?
Yeah, it's been a pretty deadly corner. Both of them so talented up there. Wow. Positioning so low, she stays so balanced on that right leg as she follows through. You do see a lot of players move off the ball a bit early, and she just stays there, finishes it, and it was just perfection.
Well, I do wonder, Danielle, if Andrea Santamaria is now looking at Aboelkheir's movement. As we've seen before, her intention is usually into the player.
Yeah, that was a tricky one. And might have just given Salma Hany enough of a boost, evening things up. I felt like it was running away from her, but they're both battling hard. Oh, a dive! Stayed in, just in! Giving a wave to his fans out in the crowd.
Well, we were talking about how warm it is on the court. You can see it's a pretty significant sweat patch. Very impressive dive from Hany. Well, 6-all, 2-all, Danielle. It's really anyone's game now at this point.
I think the score is wrong. I think it's supposed to be 7-6 unless they played a let for that get. They're playing a let. I think questioning whether or not that ball was in on the side wall. Yeah, a bit impatient. She went short right off the serve too early. Hany getting onto it quick. What a turn of events. Can't predict it.
Well, now it's Hany's turn to be a little impatient.
She just doesn't know where to move in that corner.
If I were her, I'd be very wary of chucking the ball up to the front left area without being the one that's really in front. Otherwise, Aboelkheir has far too many options.
Yeah, she needs to have intention if she's playing up there. If not, she needs to reset, put it elsewhere, wait for a really good opportunity. Yeah, that movement. Yeah, I think I disagree with it. Like you see Aboelkheir, she volleys and she's so positive. She keeps moving forward and she doesn't really give a lot of access there. Obviously, the quality of the shot was good, but
It's certainly a tough one. Hany needs to cover the front of the court, but
oh, beautiful deception, holding it. She has her first match ball of the match.
what a time to pull out a big yellow taxi like that. Well, match ball for Aboelkheir after a terrific turnaround in the fourth game. What a position for her to be in.
Well, now that it's kind of like the question, I didn't want to if it's going to be matched. Did you say big yellow taxi?
Big yellow taxi.
Yellow taxi or yellow taxi?
No, I'm not mixing languages. I know the Egyptians, in the Arabic, obviously yalla is something they say, but that would have been too cool for me. Mixing cultures.
Well, still here, 10-all. Mistakes, crucial points. He just can't keep it out of the tin when it matters most. Wow.
Well, touche. Well, we said that this match deserved to go to the distance, and it really has.
Yeah, phenomenal.
I mean, I know that Hany's first love is really that backhand drop shot, but I feel that it's been stitching her up more than it's been helping her towards the back end of this fifth.
Yeah, definitely. Another match ball. Aboelkheir. Well deserved. What a scream and celebration to finish it off. Definitely deserved. Incredible match, incredible fight.
Wow. Well, absolutely went the distance. Could not have been any closer. 68 minutes in duration for that 5-game marathon. Salma Hany pulling away with the 2-love lead. Fayrouz Aboelkheir managing to claw her way back, reclaim that deficit, and come through in the tiebreak, 13-11. She's now earned herself a 2-1 head-to-head against the older, more experienced Salma Hany.
Last question for me would be, this tournament has a lot of prestige. It's been on the tour for quite some time, and you can see a list of champions back there. I'm sure a few of which you've looked up to. What does it mean to you to make the final and be able to compete for this title tomorrow?
It's been amazing. It's my very first final of the PSA World Tour.
Well, what an amazing semi-final to end the day. Fayrouz Aboelkheir got an incredible performance against Salma Hany, picking her spot in the final against Farida Mohamed, who was exceptionally flawless today, never letting Olivia Weaver into the match. Just a phenomenal day of squash.
Awesome. Best of luck tomorrow. Great match.
Join us tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll watch Fayrouz Aboelkheir against Farida Mohamed, both of Egypt. Enjoy your night.